everybody, welcome back. Dr. Doom footage. He's ready to rock. Is he? I don't know. He's fighting Magneto right now. So this is the best, not best kept secret in the world? I don't know. Either way, I'm stoked. Dark Dimension 4 rewards will be a character that I think most people are probably anticipating. Seems to be the theme of Dark Dimensions, gear character. So yeah, we'll see if that's the case after this, I suppose. But yeah, pretty exciting. Dr. Doom, Dark Dimension 4. Whole bunch of other stuff in this blog. We'll briefly touch on it, not gonna go in depth on it, but the main thing that we're gonna talk about here is prepping and planning for exactly what you need to do 1000% for Dark Dimension 4. Who do you need to build up? What traits are required? How good is Doom gonna be? Yeah, it's probably gonna be pretty good. How stoked are you guys to get this guy? What do you think the traits are gonna be? Are there gonna be traits? I think there's gonna be something. It's not just gonna be gear tier 15, right? It's it makes it too easy on us from Fox Next. They can't make it that easy. So we're gonna jump into that. Talk about Dr. Doom a little bit. Watch this awesome footage back here of how dope Dr. Doom is. I mean, come on, that's pretty sick, right? He's killing it. He's even got Infinity Stones. Jeez. Fighting Spider-Man. I just kind of want to sit here and watch this. No, all right, fine. Let's get the stuff. Let's get the stuff.
Bring me WolverThor.
I don't know. I kind of want to keep watching this. Doom versus Doom. Okay, fine. So if you missed it, we got this giant blog type thing. Call it 2020 preview, second half preview, whatever. We had something like this earlier in the year. This is kind of finishing the year off. I'm not going to regurgitate this thing to you. I'm going to hit the high points. That's it. You guys can go read this. I really want to cover the Dark Dimension 4 stuff and how to prepare and plan for that and what the traits potentially required are going to be. Again, ISO 8 classes, we know about that. That's awesome. Real-time PvP competitive mode. Awesome. Get some rewards. Also, there's going to be a queue system. That is fantastic because that way if you don't have any of your friends online who want to play, alliance mates, etc., you can just queue up, match make, etc. So I'm glad they're basically beta testing this with us. That's fine as long as there's no rewards before they get it figured out. No big deal there. New missions, Dark Dimension 4, which we already mentioned. Doom coming, clearly. One of the requirements will be gear tier 15. I'm assuming there's going to be a level cap increase too. Level 80, yay, more gold requirements. Need more gold, 1 million to 2 million per level. Can't wait. Don't have any gold for that, but whatever. Now, Fox Next is saying they're going to add some more gear tier 14 as accessible and some superior gear pieces in a story campaign. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? They mentioned mini uniques in there. The new story campaign, obviously, Ultimus is gone. Now Doom is here, and he's the one who's threatening Earth. You can see that in the storyline, no problem. We're getting more challenge tiers. Rah-rah. Those are probably going to be extremely difficult based on how hard the last ones were. And then them having some bugs, and then people getting through them probably quicker than what Fox Next thought. Greek raid difficulty selector, not super surprised there. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love that. I'm so sick of these Greek raids, they need a refresh. Some general improvements, sound, blitz. So there's a whole bunch of blitz stuff in here. I imagine they're gonna fix this stuff so even less botting's going on. The score's gonna come down. They're gonna basically, I think, equalize it so you don't have to go crazy to get shards. If you wanna get shards, you put in some time, you get the shards. A much needed quality of life, squad management. I've been crying for this forever. When you're in that character select screen in a fight, for instance, if there's a Unity tag, it's like, can I just see a symbol on the side there that's a Unity? You know, or the pumpkin for the Halloween thing. I think that's what's gonna end up happening here. Been demanding that for a long time, thank you, rah-rah. Wolverine daily login, no more. Well, if you're at 7-star. We'll see what we get. It'd be nice to get some sort of promo token or something like that, but we'll see. I'm not going to get my hopes up for anything exciting there. So all in all, pretty cool. So now let's talk about the potential traits for Dr. Doom and the Dark Dimension 4. So while we're talking about this, I think it only necessary to continue our battle with Dr. Doom and our fellow Marvel heroes, champions behind us, because that's really the most entertaining thing on the screen at the moment. Basically, we know that there's going to be some sort of requirement outside of Gear Tier 15, right? You know, it is very unlike Fox Next to just simply say, here's a gear tier. You got to do it, at least since the first runs of Dark Dimension and all that. So unless they make gear tier 15 extremely difficult to get through, which would be fun right after gear tier 14, right? I mean, we all loved that gear grind. You should expect to have some other specific requirements for nodes in there, right? So then you start thinking about exactly what could those be and what makes sense. We had some Ordrins, right? So what do we got left? So the only other really options in my mind are, I mean, they could do teams, but that would be terrible for the community. I think anybody who would even think about wanting to build up, oh, well, you know, you've got to have your AIM team for these 3 nodes. It's like, really? Like AIM? Like, come on. So the other option is similar to the mini uniques, which is trait, bio, mutant, mystic, skill, tech. Not expecting that. I just think that they're not necessarily going to group those together, given that the gear constraints are a bit tight there, and we just also had to deal with that on the mini uniques. Could they? Certainly. But it seems like it doesn't necessarily make sense for, this is the mystic group of 4. So it's like, okay, yeah, you can put a mystic team or a mutant team or a bio team and all that. But what I think, and we were talking about this, Yeti Punk and I, a little bit, what seems to probably make sense is more of a role. So you could bring in 5 characters and you're required to have 1 blaster, 1 brawler, 1 controller, 1 protector, and 1 support. Right? That could be. So, is that right? I don't know. Is Thanos going to be Dr. Doom up here? I mean, again, that's the only reason we're here right now, is to watch this video. Not me, not to talk about these traits, but to see what's happening over here. Oh, Thanos won. So, it seems to make sense to me that the role is the likely trait requirement here. And look, before I get more into this, let's really focus on the plan, all right? So let's pause that for a second, time out, a little bit more than 20 seconds. But what we want here is, don't just start dumping all your gear tier 14 and your Dark Dimension 3 rewards into everybody for war and this and that and whatever. It will before you get into Dark Dimension 4. You want to make sure to have the gear ready for the tunes that you need to do that. Now, don't shortchange yourself and drop an arena and be terrible in war. You need to be able to keep up a bit with your alliance, and this game mode's not coming out till later this year. But I mean, that's within the next 4 months. So save. Don't really just, you know, throw your stuff away. I'd be very selective in your upgrades. Unless you're whaling and spending a lot of money, you know, then you can afford it. Sure, do whatever. But you don't want to have all your teams built up so strong that once Dark Dimension 4 comes around, that you're not going to be able to build anyone up, and it's really hard to get the, what's our new name for superior uniques? You know, or not, we had regular uniques, we had mini uniques, so supersize uniques? I don't know, whatever we're calling them. That you want to make sure that you've got those things ready to go for those characters. And, you know, you're still going to have some orange gear bottlenecks, because that's what happened with your gear tier 14. So be smart, save, don't just level up everybody. Marauders are coming, oh, I want them all at gear tier 14 or even gear tier 13. Be smart. Bring everybody to gear tier 12, no problem, but then be selective. Very, very selective. So anyway, let's get back to these requirements and what team you might want to plan for. So like I said, role, blaster, brawler, controller, protector, and support. So let's look at who we think would be the best blasters in this. And remember, we're going to probably experience a lot of pain in this. So we want some like defense up type stuff. We want some self-sustaining heals if we can. You know, someone who can do some damage in this particular category. So first up, let's look at blasters real quick. Black Bolt, obvious potential choice here. You probably already got him at gear tier 13 or 14. Fantastic character. He is a borderline no-brainer. Pyro, meh, pretty squishy, probably not great outside of Brotherhood. Human Torch is actually a really good character. Very squishy, very fast. I would not necessarily recommend him because of the fact he's so squish and has pretty long cooldowns on this ultimate. This is the best, most underwhelming ability in the game that you probably never get to use. It's just never there. So for that reason, I'm probably going to X out Human Torch. Falcon, love him. Speed up's great, but again, Not much serviceability there for someone who's you need to actually do damage for. Rocket Raccoon was great for DD1 and 2-ish, but is he gonna, you know, find a way to come back in DD4? Doubtful. Trooper, no. Ultron, not unless he gets red stars. Sniper, no. Negasonic, she has potential because of her passive here on spawn with the barrier increases on enemy turns and speed bar increase, so I could see that. Problem is some of her other abilities, it's war offense. These other ones, they're not bad where it's like you're clearing positive effects, but she does not necessarily have any energy generation. She's not going to be super durable outside of that barrier, but you know, maybe the enemy's teams are going to go so fast that it is, you know, something that could work. Thor, he's got that self-sustain, so he's definitely an option with the self-heal. He's got the ultimate with the stun. If there's a way to throw in other Asgardians, maybe that helps because they've got multiple roles and they synergize really well together. So we'll see. Cable, meh. War Machine, meh. Killmonger, maybe because he's got some drain, but he's really not doing a whole lot now. So I don't really necessarily see him doing something unless they change something where it's like, you know, they add an ability here where it's, you know, and raids in Dark Dimension do this as well. But I just... He does have that self-heal, which is, or that drain, which is nice. Iron Man, Hand Archer, Bullseye, Aim Assaulter, Korath, Punisher, Wasp, no. Elsa Bloodstone, no. Crystal, maybe. Her passive here, where if she's got an Inhuman who drops below 50%, okay, but then if you bring her as the blaster here, it's kind of like, all right, do I really want that? I don't know. So I'm not sure she'd be my blaster choice, but she's not bad depending on what the other trait requirements are and if you brought other Inhumans. Shocker, Winter Soldier, Green Goblin, blah, 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 trash, 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 trash. Cyclops, no, probably not. Not a bad tune, but I'm not seeing that happen. Boomer, Ironheart, Soldier, Grenadier, no, I don't think so. So in my mind, it's Crystal, maybe Killmonger, Ultron if he gets red stars, Negasonic and Thor, and then obviously Black Bolt if the blaster category is one. So next up, what we would potentially have is our Brawlers, right? So who would we bring for Brawler? So for this one, Brawler, Symbiote Spider-Man to me is like the clear choice. He's amazing, he's a stud, it's awesome. Now, there's actually quite a few good choices here. Captain Marvel's solid, but you know, she does have that self-heal, which isn't bad. Her damage isn't bad, you know, but is there someone there to give her energy? You're gonna really build up those charges? I'm not sure. I still love Carnage, but if you can only choose between Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man, I'm bringing Symbiote Spider-Man. X-23 is definitely an option with, you can see I've kind of already invested her in a little bit. Her passive where if people dropping below 50% health, but if Dark Dimension 4 is anything like Dark Dimension 3, it's not like people are gonna be dropping their HP a lot. So I don't expect her to get that much speed bar drain, but I do like her kit, and that self-heal is pretty nice. Namor, Thing, Ultimates, Miss Marvel, Psylocke, Chavez, blah, 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 blah. So if we find that we've got a bunch of Asgardians that would be helpful in Dark Dimension 4, and they do have these specific requirements, Heimdall is a brawler. So, you know, if you throw him there and you've already got Thor as the blaster, it's like Thor, Heimdall, okay, maybe. Trash, Iron Fist, no. Vulture, no. So the rest of these trash, no. There's not many options here. Again, Heimdall, if the Asgardians could have a full team, maybe X-23, Symbiote Spider-Man, Captain Marvel. Carnage is a good tune, but I prefer he gets some of that drain that he gets from the Spider-Man or the Spider-Man symbiote passive. And again, Ghost Rider's not bad, but I brought him into Dark Dimension 3. He wasn't bad, but honestly, like he was there for a couple turns and then he got wiped off the floor and just didn't do much. So next up, what we're gonna end up looking at here is specifically controllers. Now this is where your Asgardians are gonna get broken up because you've got Hela and Loki. So you've got a controller and Hela, you've got a controller and Loki, and they don't satisfy any other category. So if you have to pick between the two of them, in my mind, it's no brainer. It's gotta be Hela. So she's obviously a character you'd think about. If you bring Symbiote Spider-Man in there, Venom is the one that I'm looking at. Phoenix obviously is a great choice always because of her 20% heal or 20% damage given. So is it gonna be another one of those scenarios where you're like, well, I just Phoenix tax, that's what I'm doing, Phoenix tax. You know, but then there's probably gonna be a lot of Ebony Maws in there that control her, and it's like, all right, she's ability blocked, so can she get her basic and her special off? I don't know. That could be a problem, so I'm not necessarily counting on Phoenix. So right now I really like Hela and Venom. Proximate Knight's not a bad tune. Taskmaster is actually a great tune. I don't know, it depends on some of his synergies. It's not like he's gonna be getting, you know, giving a lot of assists, you know, without mercenaries all over the place, but he is a good tune overall. I actually like Mystique a lot, but again, in modes like this, not really seeing it. Black Widow, being an underrated character that could bring, especially with a potential rework coming, so keep your eye on Black Widow. Magneto, his ult's too long of a cooldown. No, no. Domino, no. Star-Lord, maybe energy generation, but he didn't make the cut for DD3. Is he gonna make for DD4? Highly doubtful. Vision, Storm, not unless Storm gets some additional ability here that's, you know, she can run this thing with Beast somehow, but, you know, and actually, if I remember correct, yeah, so, you know, maybe her and Beast are in there somehow. Okay, I can see that. She builds up her charges. Potential, keep an eye on her for sure. The rest of these, nope, 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 nope. Emma Frost, maybe. So, you know, her kit is pretty solid. With the cleanses and the buffs to her self-team, but the immunity is really going to just go to herself here. The slow to all the other enemies, that's great. That's really helpful. You know, you really had that work with Groot and, what is it, Dark Dimension 2, clearing positive effects from the enemies as well. And her cooldowns aren't too long. So, you know, Emma Frost is definitely a potential there. So keep your eye on that one as well. Now, the next one up is a Protector. So Protectors, you know, Thanos is not really working too well, even if you have high red stars. He didn't cut it very well in Dark Dimension 3. With Maw, he made it a little bit better because he could give some energy to him, and I liked combining him with Minerva. It wasn't too bad. Cull Obsidian, similar. It's like, well, if you're only picking between them, you're probably not going to bring Cull Obsidian. But he's not a bad tune. Invisible Woman, definitely a decent option. Juggernaut, no. Yo-Yo, that is definitely an option I'd consider. Those all guaranteed offense, well, guaranteed. Offense downs, definitely something to look at. But if we get too many bio characters, is that going to be another gear grind that you're like, oh my gosh, I've got, you know, 5 bio characters I've got to grind here? I could see it. Colossus, if you bring Phoenix, maybe that's definitely worth it. That's an option you got. He's obviously a stout tank who can sit there for a long time. You're going to want to make sure you T4 his ultimate. Sif, again, if you've got a lot of Asgardians going, you know, this would be your 4th one, right? So you're looking pretty solid, you know, and we've still got one more category to go that we could see that we could probably throw a good Asgardian on if this was the case. Drax, Security, Sentry, they're all decent tunes, but I wouldn't bring them in a Dark Dimension role unless, you know, eventually we'll get our hand rework. This next row, Captain America, his defense ups are nice, but his energy generation's nice, but again, unless he gets a rework with Black Widow, I'm not loving it. Crossbones, no. Merc, Ryguard, Luke Cage, no. Strife is more of a war tune. Security, Rhino, Hulk, and Baku, blah, 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 blah. None of these guys. None of these guys, none of these guys. So, yeah, when you go through this, you really look at maybe a Cap America, Sif, if you're going the Asgardian route, Colossus, maybe, regardless, but definitely if you do the Phoenix route. Yo-Yo is an absolute possibility who I'd strongly consider if this ends up being one of the roles you've got to put in there. Invisible Woman's not bad there after that. So Juggernaut, Cull, and Thanos, probably not. So after this, we've got one more left, and that one is support. All right, so support. Now, first, if you're looking at Asgardians, I'm probably bringing... Oh, man, there's so many good options even on this top row. This entire top row is not bad. No, in Berkeley Lieutenant's probably too squishy, but I love Shuri. I love Ebony Maw. Sinister's not bad. Minerva's fantastic. Scientist Supreme, I think most of us learned our lessons in bringing her in the first run of Dark Dimension 3. I didn't necessarily do it. Even in the second run, I had her there. She wasn't bad if you could get things rolling, but not the best in the world. Groot's not bad. Fury's not bad. You're not bringing Rescue, not bringing Strange. You're not bringing anybody on this row. You're not bringing it. Well, maybe Squirrel Girl. I mean, she gives some drain to Young Avengers. She's got that short heal. But, you know, really, this is kind of like... You're looking at some, you know, Young Avenger heals here. You've got some other ones, but the clear 2 negative effects from 3 most injured allies, that's not too bad. Is she an option? Maybe. Maybe. You know, I've got 5 reds on her. Hopefully through the campaign, I'll get her up to about 6 or so. doing some of the core refreshers. I don't want to rule her out. I definitely say she's on the low end of possibilities. But then you've got your Beast, who, you know, maybe he could, if with some other X-Men on there, I could see him potentially helping them out with some buffs. But again, this ultimate, it's not showing the energy here, but I think it's what, 6? I just don't love that cooldown. It's too long. So the only thing that you could do with this is if you get these buffs to Colossus, and then Colossus extends while he's taunting. And then so you have those buffs on him forever and for a long time. And as people are hitting him, he's got an offense up, he's protected, all these different things. So he is a true Colossus tank. And then by the time they kind of start getting through him, you're already working Beast in his heals, and you got his ultimate back up again. And it's kind of like, okay, well, now I can taunt with Colossus again. That chain, I could see that cycle potentially working at some point. But, you know, and it would be very Fox next of them to, you know, have something like where, well, Beast is clearly the character that you want to bring here. Now, you also got to remember we've got a whole bunch of potential other characters that could come to the game. But as far as the support goes, Beast, maybe Squirrel Girl. I don't think so. Fury's, he didn't really make the cut. Groot, but this whole top row, pretty solid. Shuri, energy, heals, defense up. She's always going to be a winner. Merc Lieutenant, speed up, offense up, but very squishy. Maul, I like his kit, but without energy generation to him specifically, it's going to be a bit slow. Sinister, he's nice to clone, has some of those self-heals. Minerva is always a no-brainer for a lot of this stuff. She's not going to be a bad decision. Her ult's great, her revive's great, and the heals on enemies dying is also great. Now, again, you got to remember, though, in a Dark Dimension 4, you're not necessarily going to get a lot of deaths, so that heal is not that big of a deal. But, again, I brought her to like every Dark Dimension since she's entered the game, so she's a good tune. So, that's kind of all the recap for this. Let's kind of do a quick outro and look at some more Doctor Doom fights. So, what do you guys think? Roll? What is it going to be? Or are they going to pull a teams on us? I really hope it's not going to be a team situation. That would be the worst. The worst. You know, maybe see some of that trait, but even that would be a little kind of like, all right. You know, is it going to be hero villain? I don't know. It could be a lot of these things, but my money is on really that role situation if they're going to do it that way. I think a lot of those other ones just don't. It'd be tough. And if you're really focusing in on trait, if you've got one trait of a one biomutant mystic skill tech, kind of already happened with, you know, maybe not intentionally, but with Dark Dimension 3. So if that's the case, most of us are probably already there. So, I don't know. One thing I do know is I expect Doom to be awesome. You know, Thanos level awesome with the full Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, and you would be a fool to think otherwise. So what do you guys think? On target here? Excited for this? Are you... Look, I don't even want to think about Dark Dimension 4. I'm not even done with Dark Dimension 3 yet. That's fair. Totally fair. I am still... People have asked for... Well, could you record some of Dark Dimension 3 timed? And I'm like, honestly, like that 94 plus day grind was just brutal. Brutal. So I wasn't about to record again. So to think about like, oh, yay, gonna record another Dark Dimension 4 run here in the next 4 months, 5 months. Oh my gosh. If it's like what we just went through. Ooh, man, I don't know. So, yeah, so lots of stuff in this midweek blog. Pretty cool. Blitzen, you know, that's one of the things pretty excited about. Some of the fixes with the traits and the characters. ISO 8, yep, that's coming too. Rah. I mean, maybe it's going to be determined when you go into Dark Dimension 4 that you've got to have a level 3 or level 4 class of each, what was it, skirmisher, what were the other ones? I had to look that up because I couldn't remember some of them. So it's like a skirmisher, raider, fortifier, healer, striker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 characters there. Raider, fortifier, healer, skirmisher, striker. So you know what the most Fox next thing would be to do is to require one of each of those in Dark Dimension 4 to get in. Now, and gear tier 15. So that means you've got to take the right character to gear tier 15 and then make sure that you give them the right ISO 8 class and make sure that they're a high enough level that they determine. It could be 3, 4, 5. Now, I will say that, you know, without getting into some specifics about ISO 8 and the economy there, I would be extremely worried about the time it would take to enter that quickly. I think you get a lot of whales in there quick because they would buy a lot of ISO 8, but I think the rest of us who are not going to be buying things, you're going to struggle to get to those levels 3, 4, and 5 on the ISO 8s. But I don't know. So anyway, laid out some options. I want to hear what you guys think. Put your comments in the section below here. Let me know what you think. Or come join the Discord. There's a link in the description below as well. That's really where I like to talk a lot. Talk theory, etc. We got a good group over there where we're chatting all kinds of different things, and we like to theorize a little bit. So anyway, come join the group. We look forward to chatting with you a little bit. Hammer down the like button, subscriptions, bells, whistles, all that good stuff. Share with your alliance mates if you so desire. Grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews. Sure, why not? And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.